All right, there she is. Anybody have questions about anything from the homework? No? Okay. I'm going to try to be optimistic about what that means. It's a little dark in here. Let me see. Beep. All right. Okay. I mean, if there's no questions, we're going to get right back into where we left off. Okay. Let's see. So last time we had started, I got some data. I'm not going to use it. So the idea with 2.7, and I'm going to talk slow for a minute just in case somebody has an actual question, because you want to stop me before I get too deep into this new stuff. Okay. So I believe that the last time I saw you, I explained the concept behind this idea of spread, the spread of data. You guys kind of with me? Did we talked about the spread of data last time. Maybe I should talk a little bit more about that again. Let me see. Is that a good one to look at? No. So let me make up some data. Well, let's see. They really didn't do, yeah, okay, this is all right. Can you guys look at Brittany's scores and look at, oh, I'm sorry, let me share this with you guys. That might be better. So if you have your book, this is on page 243. Just look at Brittany's scores and look at Jimin scores. Can you tell me, just looking at the scores, don't even look at the questions yet. Can you just tell me which one of those looks like they're more spread out?
Jimin's?
Min.
Yeah. And to be really honest, all right, so let's do this. I do want to make up my own data. Let's do the first two questions here. And let me look ahead to see what they're going to do. Oh, okay. I can deal with that. I like that. I like what they're about to do. Take a minute. Can you compute the mean score for each person? So this is something we talked about a few sections back. Get the mean score. And of course, what's the mean? What's that another name for that how do we say that in English? In everyday speak? Average. I love it. Let me see. Yeah, I speak English. I don't write it very well. So take a minute and figure out Brittany's average. Oh my goodness, Jeff, come on. And Jimin, their average. What are their averages? And obviously you can use your calculator, that's fine. Maybe I should do it too, so I know what the hell I'm talking about. Divided by. All right. Okay, sure. This is golf. Okay, I like it. All right, I like what they're doing with this problem now. I'm okay with this problem. You guys don't have to know that, but it's just something us teachers do. Has anybody got Brittany's average?
So 76.67.
Yeah, 76.67. I like it. So let me know if you're not able to get that. So let's just add them all up and divide by 6, right? So then what is Jimin's average?
75.83.
Yes, I like it. And this is golf. I don't play golf, and I'm sure some of us don't also. But what's the idea behind golf? Who looks to be on average doing better?
Brittany.
Oh, I got, oh, neat. So what is it about golf? Is a higher score better or a lower score better?
The lower score.
Lower score, because that means it took less strokes, less hits. So G-Min on average looks to be doing better, right? Now let's find the range for each. Who remembers what the range is? How do you find the range? Well, I mean, they tell you right here, Jeff. God. It's high minus low. So what's the range for Brittany? Brittany's range. What's the highest? What's the highest? Yeah, what's the highest thing for Brittany? What's the highest score?
81, 72 to 81.
And what's the lowest score? 72. So what's the range? The range is 9. Yes. You guys all right out there? Yeah. All right. Hopefully not. None of you guys are recovering like me. What about G-Min? G-Min's highest score was 83 and lowest score was 69. So what's that come out to be?
14.
Thank you. All right. I like it. Okay, so it kind of makes sense when I'm doing statistical analysis. I want to compute several different things because the average by itself is not good enough. So far, it looks like G-Min is better, but we at the same time, we notice something. G-Min's got a larger range. So it's sort of like, I don't know why I want to go to bowling in the middle of talking about golf, but if I was trying to put together a bowling team and there was somebody who had a 300 game. Does anyone bowl? 300 is like the best game you could bowl. But they also score down in the hundreds sometimes, which is really bad for professional bowlers. And then somebody else scored always between like 220 and 250, right? So the one person that had 100 to 300, they will sometimes have these amazing games, but sometimes they're going to suck. And the other person never has like an amazing game, but they never really suck. So it might be better to get that second person because they're more reliable, right? They don't have as wide of a spread in the scores. So they're a little more consistent. So that's going to be the next question on this problem. Have you guys got all this stuff written down? Because I'm going to need your help. The way I got to do this, I got to lose all this stuff that I've written. So I'm going to clear all that away so we can go to the next page. Which golfer was the better player? Who do you think was more consistent? So actually, this is completely a subjective question. Who was the better player and who was more consistent? So for some of you guys, consistency might be important, might be what makes somebody a better player. So who was more consistent? That's not a subjective question. Who is definitely more consistent? And what does that mean? I mean, the minute I tell you what that means, you know exactly who it was. What does consistent mean?
Just being around the same, being the same pretty much.
Yes, I like it. So they don't have like really high highs and really low lows. They're sort of always in the same area. So who was more consistent, Brittany or G-Min?
Brittany.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. I think you're right. Yeah, Brittany was more consistent.
Yeah, because G-Min had a wider range.
Yeah, and who do you think would be the better player then?
Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us might say Brittany. Some people, anybody say G-Min? See, that's a subjective question. There's no real, but that's the other thing about data, and that's the other thing about statistics. You could
It's
have
really
the
about
same,
accuracy.
let me say all this. You can have the same data, you can compute all this stuff, but depending on your own personal feelings about what's more important, it could lead to a different answer. And that's why some people don't trust statistics. But I'm like, that's the human part of it. The math doesn't have anything to do with, how we feel about something. Okay, so we're working towards this idea of spread, how spread out data is. So here's something more specific. Oh, I like this problem. Okay, everybody do this. Can you make up 4 exam scores that have a mean of 80, but the highest score is 100? I love this question. So you're going to have to make up 4 scores with the highest score is 100. So everybody's going to have 100 there at the top. But the other 3 can be anything, but you got to have the average come out to be 80. I love this problem. And again, this is nothing I'm going to grade. So just do something, right? Play around with this. So let me tell you one thing that might help. What do you guys think about this? If I have 4 scores that, now I'm thinking about Abraham Lincoln, 4 score and so, no, 4, if I have 4 scores that average to be 80, do you know anything about those scores individually? Uh-oh. Oh, well, you can private chat me that. Don't give away the answer or an answer. Okay, thank you for that. That is one possible answer, maybe. I didn't really look at it to make sure it averages to be 80. You don't know shit about those. So let me do a smaller problem. Don't think about number 4 for a second. If I have 3 numbers that average to 10, stay with me. 3 numbers that average to be 10. Do you know anything about any of the individual numbers? Like, does one of them have to be 10? Does one of them have to be 7?
7.
No, come on. Does one of them have to be 7? If 3 numbers average to be 10, does any individual number need to be something? Do you understand the question? No, they could be anything. They could be anything except what? How do I find the average? So how would I find the average of 9, 10, 11? How would you find the average of 9, 10, and 11?
Add and divide.
Find the average of 9, 10, and 11. What would you do?
You add them and divide it by 3.
Yes. So 9 plus 10 plus 11 is 30. Divided by 3 is 10. What about 8, 10, and 12? What's their average? Is everybody with me? I mean, average, we all know how to calculate average. This is not a big deal. So how would I find their average?
30.
I would add them up, and I get 30. Divided by 3 is 10.
10.
So if 3 numbers average to be 10, I don't know shit about each number, but I know they have to add up to be what? They have to add up to be what?
30.
Why do they have to add up to be 30? Because that's how I divide by 3 to get 10. You could do this. You could do this. So the 3 numbers could be anything. So could the first number be 1 and the second number be 7? Yes, totally. But what does this add up to be so far? 1 plus 7 is 8. And what do I need them to add up to be? 30. So what's the last number have to be? So far, I've got 8. I need all 3 to add up to be 30. So what's the
22.
last?
22.
Take a minute if you don't trust me and figure out the average of these. I like all the people doing the work right now. You're basically saying, yeah, I don't trust you, dude. Yeah, I've only known you for what, 8 weeks. I don't trust you. But no, it's good. You shouldn't trust me. You shouldn't trust anybody. Verify. But yeah, you're going to get 8 plus 22 is 30. Divided by 3 is 10, of course. Now, so let me say this again. If I have 3 numbers that average to be 10, I know they have to add to be 30 because that's the only way you can get 10 as an average is 30 divided by 3. So let me ask you this question. If I have 4 numbers and they average to be 80, what do they have to add up to be?
320.
320. 4 times 80 is 3. If I do 320, if they add it up to be 320 and divide by 4 numbers, doesn't that make 80? That's the only way to make an average of 80 is if the numbers add up to be 320. I really want you to get this idea. It's a beautiful idea. So this is 100 already. What do these 3 have to add up to be? All together, they have to make 320, right? Because how do I find the average? I add them all up and divide by 4. And if I want the average to be 80, this has got to be 320. There's no other way. So that's already 100. What do these 3 have to add up to be?
220.
220. If these 3 add to 220, plus 100 is 320, divided by 4 is 80. I really want you guys to get that. If I know the average of a set of numbers, I don't know shit about any number, but I do know they add up to be a specific number. I do know they have to add up to be something specific. I really want you guys to get that. It's a beautiful idea. So then that's why there really is an infinite number of answers here. So could this be, well, not really an infinite. I got to be careful because that max is supposed to be 100. So if I made this one 70, right? I really want you guys to get this. This isn't like crazy level math. I know they have to add to be 220. So if I make the first one 70, I have 150 left. So then I could make this one 70, and now I have 80 left. So I make this one 80, bam. Did somebody get a different answer? I think already, who was it? Somebody put that there in chat. Let's check out this answer, everybody. Does that answer work? Lauren's answer. Do you guys see that answer in chat? Are you guys checking that answer? Does it work? Yes, thank you. It does work, right? And I want to show you something else. Let me get rid of some of this. I got a lot of crap up here. Go away. All right. So watch this. This kind of, let me see if you guys get this next thing. All right, Jeff, come on. It's fine, dude. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So another thing now watch. So one thing that worked was 70, 70, 80, 100. Now watch. Another thing that will work is 65, 75, 80, 100. I don't have to do much. Now look, watch. I made that go down by 5, didn't I? Do you guys see that? That went down by 5. So if I make that go up by 5, they still add to be the same thing, don't they? So what else would work? 60, 80, 80, 100. Right? If I make that one go down by 5 more and I make that one go up by 5 more, now they still add to be 320. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that? No? No? What's 4 plus 5 plus 6?
$15.
So then if I make that go down by 1 and I make this last one go up by 1, doesn't it still add to be 15?
Yes.
If I make that one go down by another one and I make that one go up by another one, doesn't it still add to be 15? Yeah, so if I have 4 numbers that work to make an average of something, I can make one number go down by 5 and another good number go up by 5. I can make one number go down by 10 and make another number go up by 10. And of course they add to be the same thing because whatever I'm losing on one, I'm gaining on the other one. So it all comes out the same number. How critical is anything I'm discussing right now to being able to do math? Not at all. If you get what I'm saying right now, you will be able to do math better. It will make more sense. All right, maybe. So a lot of what I discuss with you guys is not like something immediately you have to know to do this or you can't do number 7. No, that's not true. It's if you understand this, you'll have an easier time with math in general. So try out number 5 by yourselves. I'm going to clear all this away. I'm going to pull up number 5 a little bit better. Can you make up 4 exam scores that have a mean of 80 and a high score of 84? So I'm going to put Lauren's answer back up here. And you guys have your own answers for this. I think, Lauren, what was your answer again? I forgot. Let me look at it. There it is. I see it. 65,
Yeah.
75, 80, 100. And everybody else has whatever answer they got, blah, 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 blah. So now do number 5. And be really careful because the highest score must be 84. You can't have a score higher than 84. All right. As you think you get an answer, can you go ahead and send it to me on chat? There are many, many answers to this.
A private chat?
No, you can just chat it out. And people can see it, but I want you to make your own. Okay, there's one. So we'll double check and make sure that works. Oh, Vu, but what's wrong with that answer though? I'm sorry, man. You've made a mistake. What is your highest score, Vu? The highest score has got to be 84. You cannot have another score higher than 84. Yeah, Nikisha, that looks like, let's see. I think that should be fine, right? 150. Yeah, that's 4 up to student. I like it. Melissa has sent me a bracket. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see, Lauren. I think that is not, well, I see 1 is 83. Okay, I didn't see that at first. That should work. Let's see, maybe. Yeah, 320, as long as it adds up to 320. Okay, I want to show you kind of a neat, watch this. So there's a lot of different answers you can get. And probably each one of you are thinking about this in a little bit different way. Oh, there's another possible answer there. Yeah, so the way to check those work is to add them up and see if they make 320. And I like that. See, Melissa said, okay, the highest score is 84. I'm going to use it twice. Why the shit not? I love it. So watch this real quick. Let's see if you guys get this. What's the easiest way? Let's say I have no restrictions. I have 4 numbers that average to be 80. What is the easiest way to make 4 numbers that average to be 80? If they are all 80, right? Do you guys see that? If they're all 80, now I'm not saying that's the answer to this question. This is my own little thing because it doesn't have a high score to 84. You with me? I'm just saying, what's the easiest way to make 4 numbers that average to be 80? If they're all freaking 80, then they average to be 80, kind of like, duh, of course they average to be 80. Now watch this. If I make that one go up 4, then I can make this one go down. Oh, that's supposed to be an 80. All right, Jeff. It's going to be all right, dude. There you go, buddy. All right. I really want you, based on what I was doing earlier, if I make that one go up 4, I have to make this one go how much? Where?
76.
If I make that one. Yeah, so that is the easiest way to do this problem is start with all 80s and then make that happen and then adjust another number against that. I like it. So if you look at all of the answers we got for this problem and compare it to all the answers we got for number 4, which ones are more spread out? Were the answers for 4 more spread out or were the answers for 5 more spread out?
Answers are
Or
4.
Yeah, 4 was more spread out, right? Because the highest score is 100. That meant that the other ones had to be lower to make up for that. I like it. So again, we're just exploring this idea of spread. Okay. So if I give a quiz and I calculate that number that tells me the spread and it's very low, that means that the grades were not very spread out, right? So if the average is a 78 and the spread is like 2, that means that everybody was sort of within 2 from 78. They were really, but that doesn't normally happen. Normally what happens is the average is 78 and the spread is 20. Because unfortunately, I get people that get 30s and then I get people that get 100. So it's really spread out. So do you see how important being able to calculate a number that tells me how spread out data is? So I already know how to calculate a number that tells me where the middle sort of is, and that would be the mean. The mean is the main middle measure that we use. But if only I could calculate a number that tells me how spread out the data is. So that's what I hope to do right now. Let's see if I can hold it together. All right, so let's get to here. All right, I like it. So here's so this is going back to Brittany's Gulf scores. I like it. Now before I show you this, let me just ask you, let me just say this to you and I'll write it down at the same time because this is important. If I want the spread, this has nothing to do with this number 4, right? I'm just needing some room. If I want the spread to be, all right, you're gonna have to excuse me. I can't give myself a break. All right, Jeff, you can do it. If I want the spread, okay, that's better, to be the average distance from the middle, from the mean, you can do it, Jeff, to each data point. Let me let that sink in. So that makes sense to say that that is what I'm going to call the spread. How far from the middle, from the mean, do the data points get on average? So for example, if I had a set of data that was 75, 78, 81, the data gets like 3 away. And this data point is exactly equal to the average. But if I had data that was like, 70, 78, become an 8, 86. Now they get like 6 away. So this would have a larger spread. And just in case, if anybody is, all right, let me ask you this. All right. If I have this data, 1, what do you got, Jeff? You can do it, buddy. 5, 5, 5, 9, and 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. All right. Just keep going with me. All right. We are currently in what I call derivation discussion. We are deriving an idea. Can you guys just take a second and calculate the average for those two? What's the average for each of these? I'm going to call this data set A and data set B. Let me mute my frickin' email. It's going crazy. All right, where'd you guys go? There you are. Just calculate the average for each one. What's the average? What do you guys get for the average of A
5.
and the average of B?
They're the same.
That's right. Good, right? Because I just made that go down by 3 and I made that go up by 3. Do you guys see that? So of course they're the same. What about the range? What's the range of each one? And again, what's range mean? What's the high minus the low? Exactly. So each one has got a range of
8.
8. Do you guys see that? 9 minus 1 for each one, right? But look now, from what we've done so far, if I just said I have data, the average is 5 and the range is 8, and I have other data where the average is 5 and the range is 8, you're like, well, that's the same data, but we see they're not. Which one of these, let me ask you this, this is going to be really interesting. Which one has a larger spread, A or B? Which one is more spread out, A or B?
B.
B. Definitely B is more spread out, but that's not captured here. So the range is not good enough to use as a measure of spread. So just in case somebody was thinking out there, why don't we just calculate the range? And that's the height, that's how spread out my data is. It's not good enough because this is more spread out than that, and the range is the frickin' same. So the range is not good enough. Stupid range. All right. Okay. Stay with me. We're almost somewhere. I love you guys. All right. So I'm going to clear all this away. It's going to go away. This was some good shit right here. Okay. Bye. So coming down here. So listen. If I want the spread, I'm going to calculate a number that tells me how spread out my data is. Doesn't it make sense that it would be the difference between the mean and each data point? So let me come down here now. So if I want to know the average distance from the mean to the data points, shouldn't the first step be how far away is each data point? Right? Do this. If I want to calculate the average distance from the mean to each data point, don't I first need all the distances between the mean and the data points before I can average them, right? So let's do that first. I can't remember, did we? Oh, here we go. They gave it back to us. It's 76.7. So let's fill this column in. So I'm going to do, for example, this is going to be 75 minus the mean. So I got negative 1.7. This will be 80 minus the mean. right? So I get 3.3. You can kind of double check me if you want to. You guys with me? All I'm doing is I'm getting a list of the differences between each score and the mean, so then I can average them up. So what's 72 minus 76.7? That is negative 3.7. Is that right? I don't trust myself today. No, it's not negative 3.7, Jeff. Negative 4.7. Somebody help me out. Oh man, I erased too much. Dad gummit. So this will be negative 4.7. Is that looking good so far? You got to keep an eye on me today. So that's 4.4, I believe. 75 minus 76.7 is negative 1.7. And 77 minus 76.7 is 0.3. Okay. So is that a big deal? I got the mean, and I just figured out each data point minus the mean. That's all I did. So come back to me here for a second. Oh, I'm a little tiny picture, aren't I? But oh, too bad. If I wanted to know the average height of men in this class, what do I need first? What do I need a list of first?
The height.
Yeah, if I want to know the average shoe size of all the women, what do I need first?
The shoe sizes.
Shoe sizes. It's crazy. So if I want to find the average blank, I need a list of blanks. That's kind of silly, of course. You're like, well, of course. So if I want to find the average distance from the mean to the data points, I need a list of the distances from the mean to the data points. So that's all we're doing right now is making this list. So then I can do it. So if I need to average heights, I need to first figure what's your height, this, what's your height, this. So I need to make a list of heights, and then I can add them up and divide by how many there are, right? Can somebody do me a favor and add these up? What do you get? Let me make sure I did this right. It's probably not going to come out exactly what I want it to be because they freaking rounded, but oh, too bad for us. Somebody chatting at me. I'm sorry. I'll check you out here in a second. Oh yeah, okay, it came out close. Where is it at? Sorry. Oh, 4.3. Thank you. Yeah, that's the help I need this morning, guys. So it should be 4.3 here. I don't really trust my brain this morning. And then it will come out exactly how I want it to. Yay. If you add all those up, is anybody, so I'm really sorry, that's 4.3 right there, not 4.4. If you add them all up, what do you get? No, what's happening? No way in hell. Don't forget the negatives. That's a negative 1.7.
Not negative 0.2.
Not quite.
I got negative 0.2 also.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it is negative 0.2. Darn it. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking backwards. So, and it's negative 0.2 because this is rounded. Remember, this was actually 76.6666666. Remember that? All right. So this is the point that the book doesn't really make a deal out of. But if I add these up, it will always come out to be about 0. Isn't that really tiny? And the reason it's not 0 is because these are rounded. And it kind of makes sense. The mean is sort of in the middle of all the data. There's going to be equal amounts on this side and equal amounts on that side. So there's going to be equal amounts positive and equal amounts negative. That's why I do this next step. So I really, So I'm trying to explain why the steps we take make sense. The actual work you have to do is very simple. You just have to do the subtraction and then you square. But why does it make sense that I square? Well, the problem is the stupid negatives. So if I square all of these, the negatives go away. So go ahead and throw that in the old calculator. What is 1.7 squared?
2.89.
I love it. And see, there's another 1.7 down there, so that's also going to be 2.89. And then 3.3 squared. That's neat. And then 4.7 squared. And then 4.3 squared. Oh, geez, that's a giant decimal point. And then 0.3 squared. So why did we do this step? To kill all the negatives. So what am I going to have to do at the end of the problem? I'm going to have to take a square root. And please understand, I'm not going to make you, this is a little taste of statistics. If you actually get into statistics, there will be a lot more discussion about this. So I'm going to give you this table and you're going to fill it out and you're going to do it. And you're going to get used to the idea of this kind of a table. Can somebody please, so if I average this now, so if I average the square stuff, then I'm going to take a square root of what I get to kill the squares. And that's what you always do. This is the process to get the number that means the spread of the data. So if you take a minute and average these, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data points. So if you take the average of those, all right, hopefully I typed that in there correctly. Let's see. Oh, 9, 2.89. Yeah, looks good. All right, good. So with me, all you're doing is averaging these numbers right now. So add them up and then divide by 6. That's all you're doing right now. So tell me, let me know if you get that answer.
It's 9.55 and 6 a lot 6.
Gotcha. 9.5, 5, and then a bunch of 6s, blah. All right. And now we're going to take the square root of that. Let's go ahead and round it to 9.557. That's fine. So hopefully you have a square root. So this number, I wonder what, I don't know what symbol they use for this number. In statistics, we're going to use the Greek letter sigma. I don't know what letter they use for this, but so well, I'll just use the word spread. The spread, when I take the square root of this, is 3.091, about 3. So on average, they get 3 away from the mean. So that's not very spread out at all. Which again, remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but I think this was Brittany's scores. Remember, Brittany was the one that had less spread. G-Min had from 60 up to 83 or whatever. So if we did this whole thing again for G-Min scores, if I put G-Min's scores in here instead, I would get something bigger than 3.091 because his scores were more spread out. So this single number gives me a feel, that sounded weird, gives me an idea of how spread out the data is. That's what that number does for me. And that's why I always calculate it for any quizzes or tests that I give to get a feel for, did everybody do about the same, or were there like some extreme things? It gives me an idea of how good of a test I created and all kinds of stuff. It's one piece of thing I do. Anyway, so let me see.
Question.
I'm sorry. This is really weird to see raised hands when I got the shared screen. Go ahead, Melissa.
When you're always finding the spread, you do both parts of what we just did.
How do you mean both parts? You mean
Like
this
you
part?
do the score minus mean, and then you square it, and then you do the last part that we did. Like this is the
Yeah, and then you
whole step
average
to
it.
find the spread.
Yeah. So the thing is, I really want this to make sense, but if it doesn't completely, it's okay. Since I have some negatives in this thing, I had to square it so I don't always get about 0, because otherwise this would be meaningless if I always get 0. And since I square it in the middle, I got to square root it at the end. So I really want that to make sense. And even if it doesn't make 100% sense right now, this process is relatively straightforward, right? You do all the subtractions and then you square and then you average these and then you take a square root. And I'm not going to make you memorize that process. You'll have to do that in statistics, but I'll give you all the steps. So let me see what time it is. Okay. So maybe let's do this. Let's try to, I'm going to clear all this. Does anybody still need that up there? Okay, here it goes. By Chicken Scratch. Okay. So I'm really curious. Yeah, so they just stepped us through all the stuff we just did. And that's how you do it in the calculator. I don't care. So what I want to do real quick, and this is the last thing we'll do today. Oh, geez, there's more stuff here. Is I want to come back to G-min. And I want to do G-mins. Do I want to do that for real? Do I really want to do that right now? No, I don't feel like doing that. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that great right now. Let me see. Maybe I want to stop things right now. Yeah, I think next time we'll talk about, I don't know if you've seen me wear my paranormal and my normal distribution shirt, but has anybody ever heard of a bell curve? Or has anybody heard a teacher?
Bullshit.
Say again?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
All right, so here's the problem, Riley. The bell curve is not bullshit. It's the use of the bell curve. If people misuse statistics, that's bullshit. I agree with you. The bell curve itself is not bullshit.
All right, fine.
So it sounds like you've had a run-in with an asshole teacher that thinks that every test and quiz they give are supposed to follow the bell curve, in which case, if somebody believes that, they can screw some students over. Is that possibly what happened to you?
No, just more discussions on IQ and genetics.
Oh, I'm with you. Okay. That is a specific application of the idea of a bell curve. And IQ is disgusting. I don't know if that's part of the problem, because the IQ is skewed to be against certain cultures and certain backgrounds and things, right? The way that we measure it.
Yeah, all right, we can move on now, sorry.
No, you're fine, dude. I listen. I love it when people bring up issues like this, because statistics is so misunderstood, but also statistics is too well understood by people that know other people don't understand it. Therefore, they can spin it, they can misuse it, and make people think certain things. And that's what I agree with about bullshit. And that's something I like to, when I teach statistics, I make a big deal out of that. Anyway, so you're fine. I'm not going to take, I'm not going to take it personal. It's just unfortunate that there are misuses of this. So I think, yeah, I think I'm on, yeah, especially after that, man. I think I'm done. It's not your fault. Don't worry. I just can't get too excited right now. Let me think. Yeah, I think that's about it. So next time we'll talk about what the hell this means a little bit. And again, this is just meant to be an introduction so that when you see this stuff in statistics, it's not completely brand new. So I think we'll finish this up. We'll finish this up next time. Let me know if you need to, what am I trying to say? Let me know if you need to hang out, ask any questions. Otherwise, it's over. I think I made the quiz unlock at 10, but I can change that right now if you want to go start it right now. Does anyone have questions, need to hang out for a bit? Are you guys okay?
When is the quiz
Okay,
due?
Jeff.
Wait, all right, the quiz will be due by 11 tomorrow. And you get an hour and 20 minutes to work on it. So it's just like last time. Yeah. Let me unlock it. Anybody else have
Are you still
question?
doing office hours today?
Yeah, I'm planning on it. Let me see. So I'll be there today. What is it? 2 to 3, right? I think it's 2 to 3. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me see. Okay, so the quiz should be accessible now. If you want to start on it now, you don't have to. You can start on it anytime. Just give yourself enough time to do it and have it turned in by when it's due tomorrow. Good Lord, I'm really
All right,
crashing.
feel better, Jeff. You have to
Yes,
get
sir.
you some rest. You have to get you some rest or whatever. You have to.
Something,
All right,
yeah.
take care.
Take care, man. Anybody
Yeah,
else? You
take a
guys all right?
nap.
What's
Yeah, I
up?
feel better. Bye.
I was saying take a nap.
That would be awesome. That would be, I wish I could. You guys all right? I'm going to head out if I don't see any question. Okay, I'm out of here. Bye, guys.